Welcome. It has been a year since the gentleman sitting with me and I have done one of these, which is the...
So, what a year as well.
What a year it has been, right? It's August o'clock, and do you know where your role-playing games are? So RPGaDay 2021 has arrived, and we have a new method to your madness, I guess you could say. So I'm sitting with David F. Chapman, renowned author of various and sundry, including the recently announced second edition of the Doctor Who role-playing game, and closer to my heart, the Wild RPG, Wake initiated lucid dreaming.
Thank you for backing that.
My pleasure. You have been a very busy guy, and yet
far too busy.
And yet you've managed to get behind an eighth RPGaDay. Right. So this is the eighth and our sixth, I think, RPG.
Yeah.
So, what do you have up your sleeves for this year?
I have no sleeves, so everything is out in the open.
Cool.
This year, mostly because I have recruited Will Brooks, who normally does our fantastic graphics. He's been working really hard with me on the Doctor Who RPGs. He did those awesome covers that got announced very recently as well. Because he's been so busy, and I've been like messaging him like daily with the, oh, can you tweak that? Oh, can you do a different version of that? Because he's so bogged down with all that, I didn't want to bother him this year with the graphic. So that's why it's a slightly simplified version for this year. And for some strange reason, I had this weird flash in my head. It was probably because I was watching a lot of quiz shows that were talking about the periodic table. I thought, yeah, we could do it like the periodic table of tabletop gaming. And so that's kind of where it came from. And of course, you wanted to add an extra element of some sort of random element to it as well.
I like to gamify things just a little bit. You know, last year with our kind of old school map, and this year with the please roll a die to select your prompt if you like. But if you prefer the select method, then go for that. But
if I'm really organized in the next couple of days, I might try and do every prompt.
Well, I hope so.
So some days when you get the 4, I will try and do it, address everyone, but it could be tricky because I am really not prepared for this at all this year.
Well, remember, it's a joy, not a burden. So we will be able to be uplifted. The first prompt is scenario, and I think people should have a lot to say about their favorite scenarios, or that funny thing that happened that time, or the scenario that they've been trying to hunt down all these years and they finally got it. That kind of thing.
I mean, yeah, I can think of a few different responses to that one. So I'm no spoilers, so don't worry.
Right. Diehard Road Warrior, RPGaDay Road Warrior, Francois Letarte, who has the JDRD 30 channel. He has done this for as long as I can remember, and he's done them in English and in French for each day.
Wow, that's dedication.
That's dedication, right? So this year he has I'm not going to spoil it, but he has a very clever method for bringing these prompts and his interest in lots of RPGs to light. So it'd be a lot of fun to watch what he does as he goes through. Yeah. So the rules are the same. We haven't changed any of the rules, just changed the format. So if you go to your blog, autocratic.com, we're going to find what? We're going to find the graphic that's behind me.
Yeah.
And the little cards that are flying around, we'll find those too. You made a daily prompt card for each day.
Yeah, just to help people who are doing like vid blogs or anything, or a blog post, if they want to use a simple graphic just for that day's prompt, feel free to use them. They're also, you can find them also on the Facebook page for RPGaDay.
And there are folders on the Facebook page which have the translations that have been submitted so far, and all of these graphics that go along with it. So the translations, we were talking about this a few minutes ago. We have Polish and French and Spanish and German.
And Brazilian Portuguese as well.
Right. So far.
So far, yes. If anybody fancies doing any translations or anything like that for us, feel free to get in touch.
Right. And for those for whom this is the first RPGaDay, right? Where did the idea come from? Why did you suddenly say one day, you know, I'm going to leap into the international forum and and host a massive blogging and responding challenge?
Well, it kind of started because I kind of get suckered into those daily prompt things that were on the internet, and I got suckered into one called RPGaDay UK that was being run by a British book publisher. And as I progressed through the days doing, there's my copy of Lord of the Rings, and here's my copy of Dune, and here's my copy of John Dies at the End, and things like that. I got to the point now, I thought, well, the player's handbook is technically a book, so why not use that? And then it kind of just sparked off in my head, and I wanted something to try and be positive and to get people talking in a positive way about tabletop role-playing games, because every year when I try and launch this, I try and say, hey, let's spread some positivity, because something bad's happened recently, and every year there's always something bad happening. And also, it was mostly a big distraction because I could never get to Gen Con. It was well, everybody's off in August going to Gen Con and having fun, and I can never go, so this will distract me from that as well. So that was another reason for it as well. But although Gen Con I think is September this year, but we're sticking to August, don't worry.
Yeah. That was one of the things that resonated with me very strongly, and the first one was, I'd like to go to Gen Con but I can't, and it's like, I know that feeling intimately. I'd like to go to Gen Con but I can't. So yeah, let's talk about RPGs and all the different pieces. And so it's evolved a lot over the 8 years since then and now, from directed questions into prompts and into things to do with the prompts, and we have added visuals and poetry, and I have yet to see a response in interpretive dance, but I'm going to keep throwing that out there as an option.
That would be amazing.
But Instagram lights up with RPGaDay, and Twitter, of course, and Facebook posts, and so in order to sift and sort through all of this stuff, we just asked that everybody add the hashtag RPGaDay 2021, so we can separate them by year as well. And recently we've discovered that old hashtags on Twitter kind of get suppressed. So if they're just hashtagged as RPGaDay, it's very unlikely that you'll be able to bring up, the massive number of posts that there used to be with that hashtag. So adding the year will help keep them fresh longer, keep them findable and shareable longer.
Excellent.
All right. Is there anything else we need to say about RPGaDay without rhyming, hopefully?
No, I think basically get involved if you can. Get involved in any way you fancy, whether it's a blog post, a video thing, you're doing podcasts this year, or if you want to take it more along the lines of something like Inktober and want to illustrate something from your gaming using the prompts, then go for it. Just make sure you keep it positive, share it as far as possible, and who knows, you might meet some new people that you can talk to about gaming.
Right. Especially if you not only share your own, but if you share the cool ones that you find, and maybe leave a comment like, "Yeah, cool," what they wrote. But all right. So we may get together again at the end of the month to do some kind of recap, if the world lets us. And, and until then, we have, at time of recording, just a few days. This is our Friday, and the action for RPGaDay starts on Sunday.
Oh, blimey.
So until then, take care.
Stay multi-classy.
Awesome.